These are the things that we believe in. First, that parents have the right to raise their children the way they want. Second, that those we elect to serve us in civil government must respect and defend our right of belief and freedom of religion. Number three, that the laws and policies of civil government must provide for the safety and security of the citizens, especially the vulnerable among us. And number four, that it is inappropriate to heap debt upon the backs of our children and future generations. They came from you. They're your pillars. They're the things that you believe.
Hi, this is Doug Sharpe, host of the National Leadership Briefing, and this is the Midweek Touchpoint. Well, this week we're talking about tools that we need to do the things that we need to do in the way of building the National Leadership Briefing community. Now, the reason why we want to build that community, of course, is because the more of us that there are that stand and speak with one voice on the issues of a parental authority, for example, right of belief, freedom of religion, the importance of prioritizing protection of the vulnerable, and lifting the burden of debt off of the backs of our children, the more people we have, the more of a voice we have when it comes time to speak to the issues of the day in society, culture, politics, or government. So this is the reason why we provide you tools on the National Leadership Briefing and why we provide you the training to use these tools in your own sphere of influence, because we remind you, you are in fact the center of a sphere of influence, and we want to have you have the greatest impact you can where you are called to serve. Now, let's take a look at some of the tools that we've used before to help you grow your personal network and identify those people that share your views and values in your particular sphere of authority. Here we are. This is called a personal network survey. Simple 4 questions that you can ask people around you to identify for you if they are someone who shares your views and values with regard to these 4 pillars. So these questions here, let me give you an example of how simple they are. The first question is, hey, Bob, do you believe that parents should have the right to raise their children the way they want? That's a pretty good, simple question to ask somebody. And if they say, you bet I do, and then you could follow it up with anything else. You could say, well, hey, Bob, what do you think about the government telling you how to raise your kids? What do you think about that? And then you have a conversation going, but you're building that relationship with people based on the things that you share in common. None of what we provide here on the National Leadership Briefing is about conning people or connecting with them or coercing them to get into something they don't want to be in. It's to identify those people around you who already believe in the same things you do and finding the common ground between you and them so that you can invite them to join them for the next National Leadership Briefing. So that's the first tool that you can find on the National Leadership Briefing when you attend. The second tool is the 4-pillar story. Of course, we rally around the 4 pillars and you know them well because we share the videos all the time. But where did those pillars come from? Well, this is a story. It's a few pages long, true, but it tells you where the 4 pillars came from so that you have a better understanding that these are the views and values of thousands, perhaps millions of Canadians across the country, and that to rise in defense of parental authority or to stand in defense of the vulnerable is actually a very fashionable thing to be doing. And so there's quite a few people that believe like you, and that's where the story came from, is it came out of a series of surveys that this story tells you about. So that's the 4-pillar story. You can find that on the National Leadership Briefing website. Now, this is a template, the new template, but it started, this is the older template that came out before, and this is called the Sphere Authority template. This is the downloadable size that you can actually take with you and share with your friends. But this is some of the training that we do on the National Leadership Briefing to help people understand the importance of the 4 pillars. We talk about the authority of civil government, the authority of church government and family government, and of course, self-government, and the possibility that because civil government has a special powers that we give them to legislate and tax, their sphere of authority sometimes mutates, their jurisdictional limit expands in a tyrannical way and infringes itself upon the church, the family, and the individual. So we use the 4 pillars. There are the 4 pillars here to actually restrain government. So this is, I'm just giving you the overview of what it is that you can expect to find in the way of tools if you go to the website and then join us on the National Leadership Briefing to learn how to use these tools. Now, this most recent one that I've introduced on the last National Leadership Briefing, we're going to be training on this moving forward, because if you take a look at the other template here, this template here is the new one. If you take a look at the old one here, this one here, getting all twisted around here, this one does not have the marketplace, but the marketplace is another sphere of government in our society, and it has been severely influenced and impacted by the recent COVID-19 lockdowns. A lot of business people and their families and their employees have been negatively impacted by civil government and the decisions of civil government. So we felt that it's appropriate to include marketplace in there and to start emphasizing the important role that marketplace is going to have on moving us back out of the COVID-19 and the pandemic. So this is what we're talking about today, is making sure you're aware that we are providing tools, that we want to make sure you know that they're available and accessible to you, and that we're going to teach you how to use them. One of the reasons that the tools are always very simple is because we believe they need to be usable and manageable in your hands. You're never going to require a big, long 3-day seminar workshop to handle the tool to try and figure out how to use it when you're talking to your neighbor over the fence. They're very, very simple to handle. They're very user friendly, and we want to have it that way because we want you to be asking as many people as you can whether their views and values are aligned with yours, so you can invite them onto the National Leadership Briefing. So remember, tools are important, training is important, and that's what we get to do every single month on the National Leadership Briefing. If you continue to join our family and stay with us, because we are going to advance those 4 pillars into society, culture, politics, and government for as long as we possibly can. Speak and breathe and walk and talk. We're going to keep doing it. So thanks so much for this week's Midweek Touchpoint and your attention to it. And thank you very much for your ongoing support of the work that we do here on the National Leadership Briefing. Until we see you again, God bless you, God bless your family, and may God continue to bless this great nation of Canada. Bye for now.